All right. So, as you guys remember, where we last stepped off, you guys were just, you guys just giving some criminals a thrashing after trying to kidnap a woman, and now you guys are back on your way to visit the University of Mercy. All right, to see what's going on there. You think there might be a lead there that'll help you later on when you cross the border. So you guys drive to the university, and you guys know where it is. You guys looked it up on your maps. The university is actually in downtown Mercy, so there's a lot of tall buildings there, and they kind of sprinkle the landscape. As you get closer and closer to the center of the city, the traffic gets a bit more packed, and the standard of living actually seems to go up. But the ethnic composition of the city doesn't really seem to have changed. Most people are still either Imperial or Convent Auroran. And in the city center, there seems to be even less Anarch around. Just in case you guys haven't noticed, you've only actually interacted with one character of Anarch origin. It was that guy's wife at the museum. Everyone else has been Convent Auroran or something else. Uh, so you guys eventually make your ways to the parking area of the university, and so only one of you, I mean, I guess two of you have been to universities, I believe. You guys are very surprised to find out that parking is free, and there's actually a reasonable amount of parking spots available, so that's very nice. So you guys park. You guys walk from the parking lot to the actual campus. The campus it's a nice peaceful green, and they have several tall buildings around, and it's quite a large university. It's the only real big one in Anarch. So in the whole governorate. So it has to be a big one to kind of compensate for all the people. And there's a lot of young students walking around, and there's like a steady sound of pleasant talking. So now that you guys are on the university grounds, so you guys remember that the museum's curator recommended you to go see this Dr. Tenon of Kant, who's in the Banat Studies department. You guys can find a directory and find out and go to that department, or you guys can do something else here. If you want to do something else here, just let me know what you'd like to do.
I say we go for the professor.
Okay, go for the professor that I mentioned.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys venture around the campus again. You find a directory. You see where it points you out. You guys walk to the building. It wasn't too straightforward of a journey, considering none of you guys have ever been on this campus before. But you make your way over to this department. It's in one of the buildings. The building is kind of run down. Could use some improvements. The floors are dull yellow. The walls are a stained white. Some of the ceiling panels are crooked, and the building just kind of has a bit of a weird smell to it. But as you guys enter the Banach Studies department, you come upon like there's a female imperial secretary. She's typing away at her computer, and as you guys approach, she looks up. She's like, "Oh, hello. Is there any way I can assist you?"
We're looking for the professor.
Which professor?
Uh,
Banat studies.
Tenant, I think.
Oh, okay. I saw him in his office. He's actually been quite a popular guy recently. He's right down the hall. So,
Right, thank you.
so yeah, you guys go down the hall to his office, and you find his office door open, and he's staring closely at his laptop's monitor and writing some notes. But as you guys are poking your heads in from afar, he sees you guys. He's like, "Hello, come on in." And so you guys come on in, and he's like, "Oh, okay. I only have two seats, but two of you can stand. That's fine." And he most of the office is kind of a mess. There's the two free chairs, but most of his desk is taken up with his computer and a great deal of papers. But he does seem quite happy to see you guys. So you can tell that this professor, he's an Imperial. He has dark brown hair and blue eyes. though his hair is starting to go a bit gray, and he is starting to bald a bit. He seems like he's in his late 50s, and he exudes quite an outgoing personality. Uh, and the instant you guys get all settled in, he's like, "Well, I'll be honest. This must be important since it really doesn't look like you belong to a university." So, what question did you have for me?
Um, just does anyone remember what we were supposed to ask him?
To
be honest, I'm not sure.
So you're this guy. His research specialty is in hunting down these lizards who
Okay,
have.
okay. So we were looking for, we were in the museum, and I'm personally interested in uh, about the lizard folk basically, and the museum curator kind of pointed us towards you so that we can learn more about them.
Okay. Let me tell you about my research, actually. So, well, up until a few years ago, I studied the Banach language. Really, as unfortunate as the invasion was, it really gave us access to a whole trove of literary material that we used to update our knowledge on the language. So, 30 years ago, all of our knowledge on the Banach language was derived from a dialect that was brought here thousands of years ago, and our understanding was still quite incomplete. So we lacked a whole host of scientific, linguistic, and medical terminology due to the fact that the spoken language died out with the conquest of the city. We might even call it a miracle that the written form of the language was preserved for so long. But with the invasion, we were able to piece together the missing parts of the language and update the now outdated portions of the language. Now, I'm not exactly the top scholar on the Banach language. My colleagues and friends from the provinces are the real heroes, doing all the important things with military and intelligence applications. But while they did that, I was the one compounding all the Banach cultural things. In particular, I wanted to know about how they talk about their ideas of everyday life. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I'm sure you do. You know how we differentiate between a house and a home, right? Just because I use some shithole of a shack doesn't make it a home. A home has a loving wife, children, food, and warmth. The Banach make that distinction. Before the war, we didn't know this. We had only read one word. Well, I can't really say it due to the vocalization. I'd be happy to write it down for you. For thousands of years, we used that one word interchangeably due to our utter stupidity and the lack of knowledge about the proper Banach tongue. So we can find many examples of this. The Banach differentiate between a child and a son. A son is a child that has proven himself to his father. Just because you are born to a certain male and female doesn't make you worthy of their name. You must show that you are worthy of your parents. Imagine if we have a society like that. We don't have to know anything about their cultural practices to discern this, all through the power of linguistics. And while that used to be my research interest, I realized that while that was the type of research I wanted to do, there wasn't a particular great amount of funding for that. But the imperial government invests heavily into finding the few Banach who managed to escape capture during the war. So I decided to start doing that. And now, I'm not going to lie, I'm a linguistics person at heart, but it's really hard to get in, and it's a bit hard to get into something that's really not even Banach studies at all. Really, Banach studies is the study of the language, culture, and history of Banach. Not where they started to hide, but, you can't really argue with 500,000 staff grants, now can we? And what this is where the linguistics part of everything really comes into play. So while I'm technically in the field of finding Banach, I really just translate a whole bunch of documents and then hand off the translations to my graduate students, and they're the ones who sort through those piles for any useful intelligence. But I'm sure you'd rather not hear me rant about my research all day, so I'll stop here. Now, let me actually tell you about how these translated documents are useful in finding the Banach. So you're supposed to, get these documents. It's really sparse work. You have to find the right documents. You ideally want a manifest of soldiers comparing the outgoing with the returning ones. You can find discrepancies and compare these to confirmed casualty lists to make a list of possible deserters. The issue is that most of these manifests went down with their ships, or they're really difficult to parse out from the massive amounts of data we have. Indeed, if you go to some of the better universities up north, you'll see that they're working on using machine learning to sort through the different types of documents we have to pass on the relevant ones to the finders. I mean, I can tell you that my colleague Aurora Teffa at the University of Stefan has made great progress, and she's been a real pioneer at this. And she's been the first to make real progress in developing algorithms for sorting within the Banach language. You see, we're really used to our Fourierian Auroran language, and suddenly when we have to deal with a completely foreign one, it gets a bit difficult to do sorting with text, and you have to have completely different alphabets. But anyways, you use the locations attached to the missing documents, assuming that the data hasn't been corrupted, to find a broad range where a missing soldier may have gone. Of course, there's a lot of false positives due to how many casualties that they were suffering at the end of the war. I mean, yeah, these big ships, they could carry an excess of 10,000 fighting men, and they lost a lot of those. It's not hard to believe that maybe some people were double counted and the like. Also, on a complete aside, let me tell you about how much their data tells us about the rest of the world. So during the beginning of the war, there was all this hate towards Aurora, and they seriously thought that she was just fucking everyone over by not contributing a lot to the troops of the continent. It turns out it's because they had been fighting a different war the whole time. We don't really know the finer details, but the local records we find, that is the ones that aren't handed down to us scribed by the Aurorans, who certainly remove any revealing information beforehand, which had its own implications, that tell us that there were a certain amount of mass deployments elsewhere in the world. If we phonetically translate quite a few reasonable amounts of location names, we get names like New Glacier and a whole load of Aurora. So we can make the quite reasonable assumption that these soldiers wouldn't venture too far from their abandoned army and then search in the general area of where battles occurred. We know from finding the older strains of Banach, the ones who came from the city a long time ago, that they're more likely to live in caves and around rivers. We can use this to further constrain where they might be. It's really a fascinating subject, but the field work for it kind of sucks. You have to go with military patrols out for a few months. For translations, you get to stay at cushy universities up north. Much better. I've probably gone on far too long for this. Let me tell you about I think you asked about. Did you ask about high-ranking Banach officers who deserted? Is that what you wanted to know about?
We sure did.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Okay.
my first question is: have you ever come across Banach?
I have not.
Hmm.
But yeah, let me tell you about their high-ranking officers who deserted. So the nice thing is that most of the manifests of soldiers we have include the ranks. And as you might be able to guess, most of the people on the manifest are enlisted soldiers or their equivalent. And by the virtue of there being less officers, there are less officer deserters. And in particular, we really think that the highest-ranking Banach officers were particularly dedicated to their cause and were killed in the fighting and not fleeing, which would have been seen as highly dishonorable, especially in such a hierarchical society like the Banach have. This all being said, I was talking to my dear colleague Dr. Marwell at the University of Aurea recently, and she was mentioning how she believed that there was a particularly decorated officer that was listed as missing. And by high ranking, I mean the damn Banach administrator of Cathay when it was under occupation. Now, I haven't had a chance to confirm her quite fantastical claims, but she said that one Yer Taom Va Etanom Ha, I believe that to be the proper organization, was deployed in Aurea shortly before its recapture, and in a battle just a few days after the recapture of Aurea. I believe the Battle of the Imperial Ten in Cathay, he was listed as missing after that. Now, I wouldn't exactly go saying that this is a smoking gun, and means that this guy is running about. We've had situations like this occur before where soldiers go missing for several weeks before showing up in records again listed as alive. Indeed, our records seem to indicate that such absences were unpunished so late in the war, though given the similarities between our two military types, it's likely that such absences were punished heavily early on. I suspect that the reason for this leniency was that due to the rapid Banach retreat, significant amounts of soldiers being left behind with a chance to withdraw, and enacting minimum punishment ensured that as many possible would join up again. Now, of course, if this guy were indeed running about, he's certainly far away from Aurea by now, since Aurea is the most heavily patrolled city on the continent. Its surrounding area was cleared of deserters within a few weeks, and it has been clear ever since then. Of course, that's if you buy into that story like the most of us. Some people tout conspiracies that the funny anti-imperial government in Cathay is led by lizards, that the humans are just being used as puppets for the Banach masters. I mean, I don't think it's true, but it's had a surprising amount of support from Cathay's now sizable diaspora. So this guy kind of just dropped a load of information at you, but he dropped two names. He dropped this Yer Ta Om Va Etanom Pa, and he dropped the name of Dr. Marwell, who works at the University of Aurea.
Dr. Mario?
Marwell, Marwel. Uh,
Is there perhaps an abbreviation for our lizard friend?
yeah. You can just call him Yer. It's IER.
IAER.
Yeah, if you really want to know more about him, I can only give you a short background. Ms. Dr. Marwell is a faculty member at the University of Aurea in the Banach Studies Department, and I'd strongly recommend that you pay her a visit if you ever get the chance. It's a bit of a long drive from here if you're really looking to go there, but it's pretty straightforward if you have a week or so. You just hop onto the Imperial 10 right here in Mercy. You keep on driving till you hit Aurea. If I remember correctly, the highway even has an exit sign denoting the university's location. But, do you have a particular interest in this ear guy?
I just find this all very fascinating. I think all of us do.
Yeah, let me actually tell you some more about him from what I know. Let's see here. So Ear, that's his forename. It's the legal name that he would have possessed. He would have been given that by his father and mother after he proved himself as his son to them. It means something like giant, but it's when it's used in the context of a larger-than-life personality. Maybe he was outgoing or something. So the second part, Ta'om, that really shows his power. There's never really been a one-to-one translation of these things, but I'd say that it means something like champion or victor, but with a bit more, biting diction. Maybe the one who bested might be a better term. Now there's been great interest in Va Etanom Ta. Quite honestly, they're not really Banach words at all, or at least in their origin. However, this is where the great work of Zerixus Turman at University of Tel Mekar in the Highlands has come into great recognition. So he's been absolutely groundbreaking in understanding the religious views of the Banach during the occupation. In particular, the whole Banach studies and spirit studies departments, they are spearheaded an effort to probe the religious practices of the Banach. We came onto a really strange, though oddly familiar, realization. A notable amount of Banach ended up adapting our native Fourier Auroran pantheon. Now this makes sense. Our little snippets of Banach religion from their settlements long ago tells us that the Banach there ended up syncretizing their old religious beliefs with that of the humans around them. In many ways, this is more interesting than the native beliefs of the Banach. Really, our evidence is pointing to the Banach to not having a notable faith, and instead they likely had a faithless, spiritless society. Anyways, the Banach certainly recognizes spiritual authority to some extent during the recent adventures here, and one result of this was the adoption of short names in place of their Fourierian Auroran names. Really, how they denote a spirit is through the use of two characters, one representation being their beginning name, and then a second uniform character denoting spirituality. Now, of course, the fact that these names are so short means that there's a certain amount of overlap in word usage. For example, the word va is used a reasonable amount in Banach, but in this case the context matters. In this case, Va is ability, Ha is Zerixa, and with a bit more of a traditional Oriani flair put on it. Some has postulated that this may have been the result of contact with the Oriani, and that they were the ones to pass on the knowledge of our familiar spirit Zerixa to Banach. But etanom is a bit different. Eta is eternity. The nom ending is indeed Banach, but it's a superiorative. This means that in the comparison of va, eta, ha, and eta, eta is the most important. If we were Banach, I'd denote this by just saying va, eta, nom, ha. The word order itself doesn't matter in this case. So we're still a bit confused as to why eternity gets the nom. Since, as I hope you know, eternity is a short name of one of the spirits. So like kind of one of the gods of the life, of the universe, or world in this case, and she has like a full name and stuff like that. But she's an important spirit in the world, especially in the Highlands. That's just an aside. And so, as I hope you know, this was before her return to the Highlands. Indeed, while she had a holy order and a notable following, there were still a lot of people who refused to recognize her as a proper martial spirit. So that this whole idea of recognizing her as being any particular amount of greatness is quite strange. So Ir Tom Va Etanom Pa really just translates to year, the one who bested ability, eternity, and Zerixa. This translate might bring to light why Eternity gets a superiorative for her name, as recently one of our graduate students here submitted a paper offering an explanation. He claims that Eternity was the one who suffered the greatest defeat of the three spirits, and he's in collaboration with the military history department here to back up his claim. Now, I haven't looked into greater detail to confirm his claims. That being said, there's been some amount of controversy around the paper, seeing as a certain student is well known to hold anti-Eternian sentiment. There's been an alternate explanation floating about that. The Banach predicted Eternity's return to the Highland and her ascendance to what can only be described as the most powerful and most influential figure in the Highlands, second only to Foyer himself, though that explanation was attacked for being politically charged. So really, if you have any idea of an explanation, I'd recommend you write a paper on it, and you're free to send it to me. I'll look it over, and I'll submit submission if it's good. Even if you don't have a degree, the offer is still open. The professor catches his breath and realizes that he has gone on for long enough. You must excuse me. This impressive ability to talk for great amounts comes with the job. I can't provide you with a good history of our friend here, but again, I'd recommend Dr. Marwell at the University of Aurea. She has a reasonable academic interest in him. Send her an email, though. I hope one of you has an academic address. Now, I really must be going soon. Are there any other questions? Hopefully ones I won't go on for so long about.
I do believe that the Banaks are still alive, right? They're not an extinct species.
Yeah. There's very few of them. 10 to 20,000 maybe. Before the war, there were maybe a few thousand, but after this war, there's about 20,000, I'd say.
My point is, why go about this whole exercise of trying to learn a language and not just getting hold of them?
So the language has held a very important status in our culture for thousands of years. It's first, learning the language allows us to decode the great amounts of data that we were able to capture in the war. And that tells us much about their society, and this all goes back to ancient history. We have Banach texts from tens of thousands of years ago, and being able to improve our language will allow us to reinterpret those texts. And maybe they had said something that we had not been able to understand because we simply didn't have a complete understanding of the language.
Are there any Banach scholars at the moment? I mean, scholars who are Banachs.
No. Banach tend to be rejects from society and tend to be heavily persecuted by society. Even before the war, they would typically hold their heads down. Of course, there are exceptions to this. There's a story that came out of Aurora long ago that during the conquest of Aurora, in the city of Glacier, one of the more famous cities in Aurora, one of the ones we know that exists, that there was a Banach there who helped with the conquest of Glacier, and he sat on Aurora's council even after she was assassinated. But when she returned, now immortalized, the lizard was still there 100 years after the conquest of Aurora. But for the most part, most Banach, they live in very, very isolated areas, and they keep to themselves. We always hear about that some villages may protect one or maybe a small family, but these cases are few and far between. There are very few Banach who exist anymore.
I'm very fascinated about seeing a Banach. Just a curious fascination.
Oh, you want to see one? We have
what are the
pictures of
chances?
them.
No, I want to see them in real life. What chances do I have? What do you say?
So the museum does have corpses of them, I believe, here. Did you say you went to the museum?
I'm intrigued of life. Banachs.
Oh, a real one. It's not that great. You would have to go searching for one, and that can be quite dangerous. So as I mentioned, when we do field work in this area of research, our scholars are sent out with military patrols to protect themselves. So if you ever want to see one, it could be dangerous. You could, if you don't know what you're looking for in the first place, you might spend years of your life looking for one and not be able to find one. Though, as I mentioned, I've actually had reasonable success in hunting them down using all the data we've gone out through. So really, I mean, I could provide you with some programs maybe if you can run them, but they require just data that you need ahead of time, and that's a very high access thing. They don't just hand out the data to everyone. But I mean, yeah, in the case, we hunt them down to this day, so we know how to find them.
Um, what if I promise to write that paper for you in return of the data you provide to me?
So uh, to find this year guy, or just a general algorithm for and
Hold on
data.
just a second. Hey, Dale. Hello. My internet keeps cutting out, so I'm wondering.
Oh, no, my internet's fine.
Oh, okay, I keep having connection issues. Maybe I'll move to the living room.
Okay.
Anyway, carry on.
As you were saying.
Yeah. How about general algorithm? I'll report all the findings I have and report to you I'll send you regular updates.
I have no problem providing you with general algorithms. It's just an issue of the you have to have the data beforehand, and you typically need security clearance for that. So are you affiliated with any universities that you might be able to get clearance through?
I can ask my old university where I used to be a student.
No. So what was your research topic on?
Well, I was not a Banach researcher. I was a mining engineer, but this topic seems to fascinate me off late.
Okay. So there are a few open source bits of data. I can send you them, and I can send you the program I sent that I've written. And I can also include results from some of my previous graduate students. So a lot of this stuff requires translating Banacta. So do you have any knowledge of the language at all?
No, I'm just starting to look through different stuffs.
Okay, I can provide some recommendations for books to teach yourself. It does have a bit of a high barrier for entry, but you figure that people 5,000 years ago knew how to read and write this language, so you can certainly do it now, right? And so he's like, oh yeah, and I actually got an email from someone outside this university. Was that you?
That would probably be me.
Okay, I'll respond to that email, and I'll include programs and some open source data and some recommendations on books.
Okay, that would be good.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for this guy?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so he's like, okay, well, thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. And
Thank you for giving us all the information.
oh, no problem. I enjoy talking about my research, so don't worry.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, so to summarize everything, essentially you found out the name of a prospective target, and
Right.
more importantly, found out someone who to talk to him about in Aurea.
Okay.
And I think that's it, basically. Oh, you also got told what you already knew of. He's probably in an isolated area. But I think you already knew that going in there. And yeah, a few minutes later, this guy emails you back with programs and some open source data and some recommendations on books to teach yourself the Banach language.
Can I make any sense of the data?
Not really.
Okay.
Actually, give me a roll, actually. D20. Intelligence.
Okay. Nope. That's just an 8.
Yeah, you don't really know. as far as you can tell, this actually isn't. So the programs are in for like a different part of the empire entirely, like for a search there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you guys have anything else to do at this university you'd like to do?
I think it might be valuable to talk to the grad students since they're the ones who do some of the more practical
Okay.
parts of tracking down people.
Okay. Yeah. So you try and look for these graduate students. You walk around the building that you were just in, that you're in. You go down a floor or two or something like that, and you eventually come up upon a graduate student office. Has the names there, and it has the professor working under Professor Tenon of Kant, and you see that the door is open, and there's a male convent Auroran graduate student, and they're typing away on a computer, and he looks to the side and he sees you guys there. He's like, oh, hello, can I help you?
Yes, we just spoke with your research advisor about your process for finding these high-ranking lizard officials, and we'd like to know a little bit more about your process, how you interpret the data and actually track these people down.
All right, so we have these huge lists of data. I don't do any of the translating myself. My advisor does all the translating, but I write a program that we just enormous amounts of data. We get it. I think we source most of our data from Aurea nowadays. The university there, they have the largest store of the data on the whole continent, I think. And so what we do is we sort these lists, all these lists by names. So there's countless soldiers. Sometimes they have names that overlap almost entirely. And so these lists we have, they're manifests of soldiers. They tell us where the soldier was deployed, and when where they check in over time. So these soldiers were deployed in Mercy, this date, this time, and then a few weeks later they check back in somewhere else in Wintac, this day, this time. And so what we're looking for are discrepancies where these soldiers they don't show up again. So essentially we only get one ping saying, oh yeah, this soldier showed up here, and then either we get a ping that says they were missing, they were killed, or that there's something else captured. We discard all the captured ones. All the captured ones were sent to Aurora shortly after the war ended, and Aurora did most of the capturing herself anyways. We didn't get our hands on many of them. So the dead ones we usually discard. There's actually been some kind of interest in looking into the dead ones again. Maybe some deaths were faked. We can't know this for sure. But even in our society today, sometimes soldiers get accidentally marked dead and show up alive later. Of course, they're not brought back to life. It's just sometimes there's a clerical mistake made. The interesting one are the soldiers who just go permanently missing from the records. So what we do is we find the last place that they were on a manifest, and essentially they disappeared somewhere around there. They're scheduled to be checked in somewhere else at some date later. So essentially, between these two areas, they went missing. And so what we do from there is, we essentially can bound the area that they disappeared in. And from there, we go through some mathematical models to model how they would move about. A very crude way is to do a random walk. That can be a bit unrealistic though, because we know from previous experiences before the war that the Banach usually stay around rivers and stay in caves. So if we have a map that contains a very well documented map that has lists of all these streams and caves, we can use that to bias our model to come up with places where we can find the Banach more easily. And from there, we find a few good sites, ones that have good access to water, some that are in mountains usually works out, places like that. And we find these sites and we send them to the military of the respective governorate usually, and they'll get many of these requests, and essentially the governorates have a great interest in finding these Banacht, and so they'll get the data that we compute, and they'll search at those locations, and sometimes they'll find a Banacht there, and they either kill it or capture it. They try and capture them, but sometimes you have to kill them. Personally, I haven't gone out on one of these scouting adventures. I'm not a military type. I think we have a graduate student in our group right now who is on one of the patrols, but I'm not sure.
I see. So is he currently out on a patrol, or is he here?
I'm not sure. It may be that I don't think he actually patrols with the soldiers as much as it is that the soldiers get and the graduate student they go to a local village and they set up shop there, and they leave the graduate student there because most of us graduate students we don't have here in Mercy and Anarch we're not required to do mandatory military service, so very few of us have military training. So I think they usually just leave the graduate student behind in the village while the soldiers go check out the prospective locations, and if they come up dry, they'll refine the search again or expand the search, and they'll continue searching areas.
Can you point me, is that graduate student around at this point here?
No, I think they're away, either on a vacation or they are on a on field research at the moment. And
Do you know where they've gone?
No, we didn't really talk that much, and this is actually their first time being gone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't help you. I can give you their email if you want.
That would be good.
Okay, yeah, he gives you the email. It's a woman, a convent Auroran. Her name is Aurora Era. Yeah. You're like, okay, yeah. Did you have any other questions?
Um, Maybe you can answer, although you have never been in any of these scouting missions, but when you say danger, do you know what kind of danger the lizard folk is, or how what's the scale of the danger? How do they? Yeah, whatever.
So this is actually nice. So my father served in the war. Uh, yeah, he served in the war, and so he actually imparted some stories onto me. So Banacta there, typically 7 to 8 feet tall, so over 2 meters tall. They tend to be a bit thin. Yes, they're quite large. They tend to be very strong, and they tend to be quite resilient too. I think that this could just be my father making up stories, but he said that they were resistant to poison and things like that, but I'm not actually sure about that. I can't confirm that. And even then in a war setting, how often are you shooting, trying to inject these things with poison? But yeah, he said they were very resilient, and they were very dangerous up close. At a range, they were a bit easier to handle so long as they didn't have weapons. But yes, during the war, not many were fought up close, other than in duels and things like that. But actual combat took place at a range, and the Banacht were very dangerous at a range because of their advanced weaponry. Though most of the Banacht we find today, they don't really have ranged weaponry. Maybe most of it deteriorated over the 20 years since the end of the war. We're not really sure. Well, at least I'm not sure. Perhaps there's someone who's more qualified than me. But yeah, they don't really have weapons, their own weapons nowadays. Maybe some, fashion, spears and things like that, or find normal firearms made by humans. But You know, if they
Have you guys ever been successful in catching a Bannack alive?
so I have not been. Uh, the department here has caught, I think, one or two. Though we collaborate with people up in the north of the empire, and they're much more successful than us. They've captured at least 20, I think.
So when these Bannacks have been caught, what does the department usually do with them?
Oh, so it's the local military who captures them. We simply provide them with where we think the Banakta are. They're usually put into their custody, and I believe there's an agreement between the Empire and Aurora where the Empire will send the Banach to Aurora, and we are not sure what happens after that. We have never gotten one back from Aurora, to my knowledge.
Do you guys not meet these Bannack people or
Uh,
ever?
we do not meet them. In the very important universities in the Highlands and in the north of the Empire, and maybe even in the University of Aurea. I'm not sure. Maybe they, because those are the universities that have the highest and most important scholars of the Banach language and things like that. Actual people who are very skilled in writing it and communicating with it. They might be contracted to talk to them, but I'm not sure. Also, we know very little about what Aurora's role in all this is, other than she receives them. It could be possible that she's the one who's interrogating them without any input from us here on the continent.
Can I tell if he's lying about meeting these guys?
Yeah. Give me a roll of d20.
10.
He's not lying.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Okay. So you guys finished talking to him, and he kind of just regurgitated information that you guys already knew. He did reveal something about Aurora and how the country of Aurora is the one who receives most of these captured Banach. But it seems like, yeah, they receive them and they're never heard of again. Though there does seem to be, at least some kind of transfer from one authority to the other. Okay, so did you guys have anything else to do at this university?
No, I guess.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do some classes here.
Go visit the physics department? No. I was thinking about writing that into this, but no, I didn't.
No, definitely
didn't.
don't. We don't want to get too realistic.
Yeah. Having the professor go on for like 10 minutes was enough for me. And okay, so yeah, you guys head back to your car, and you guys are ready to do something else in Mercy. Is there anything you want to do in Mercy? Anything
So let's
else,
see.
or-
After we saved that person, we immediately came here.
Mhm.
I don't think, was there anything else that we even wanted to do?
You can go meet that person.
Go meet what person?
Person you saved.
Oh,
What
why
are
would we meet
meeting?
them?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't really know anything about her. That's the thing.
Let's say, what are we meeting her for? It doesn't seem like she was like relevant, really.
Well, you never know. I mean, yeah. Anyways, we don't have any detail. We don't know where.
So I
she-
mean, if that's the case, then we can just start heading towards Aurea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's like the
Because we've already
Another
stocked up
story.
on supplies.
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, unless you guys want to like go get a bite to eat beforehand or something like that.
Nah, we got plenty of Slim Jims in the car.
All right.
I need to go
I
get-
assume Slim Jims are in this world, right?
There's probably an equivalent.
No, there is no equivalent to Slim Jims. Let's get this straight now.
It has to be name brand ones.
Coca-Cola or
I will accept Jim Slims.
Okay, so you guys are done in Mercy?
I think so. I can't think of anything else if anyone else can.
No, yeah, I think we can move
But
on.
in Mercy.
So you guys are done in Mercy altogether. So you guys, drive back around the city, and you guys hop onto the Imperial 10 freeway highway.
I-10.
Yeah.
Did you make it I-10 because of Houston? No.
Well, there's I-10 in California. That's what I took to get to Houston, actually.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, it is just like, oh yeah, it's a really long highway. So it goes all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, by the way.
I know. I take I-10 if I were to ever go visit my dad. I take I-10 all the way to Kerrville, which is on the other side of Texas.
Oh wow.
We
Do
fucking
you
shit for
stay
that.
on there the whole time, or do you?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I get off of it to go around San Antonio.
Oh yeah,
I-10 goes all the way from Florida to California.
yeah,
Yep.
Holy shit.
yeah.
That's
I
a long road.
I got on the I-10 like 30 minutes from my drive from Riverside to Houston, and we stayed on it the whole time. There's something else. Yeah, like I like it. It's like a two-lane highway the whole time. And also, yeah, when I went past through San Antonio, we passed through there at 5 p.m. when all the traffic was going on, and it was the worst. Also, I actually thought about it today. So when we were heading out the east side of San Antonio, like the city just dropped off like that. Like it was gone. The city was gone within like 15 minutes, just in the middle of nowhere.
Wait, what? Sorry, repeat that again?
San Antonio, like you leave from the east side of the city and just like the
Oh
city
yeah, everything's
just
gone. Yeah.
disappeared. It was crazy.
And then you drive through Houston, and it takes you like an hour from when you start hitting cities. Or it takes you like 2 hours from when you start hitting cities to like when you get to like Rice.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is in Southern California. Like in Riverside, it takes you like 30 minutes to leave a city. You leave the city for like 30 minutes. Then you hit a city in the middle of the desert for like 30 to 45 minutes. And then you go for like 3 hours until you hit the border with Arizona. That's like really fast. And then you go for like 3 more hours until you hit Phoenix. And Phoenix is gone in like 45 minutes. And then there's nothing until Tucson. And then after Tucson, it's Las Cruces, I think. Yeah. I was thinking about that drive earlier today. That's why I remember it. Oh, anyways, so you guys are ready to leave. You get onto the Imperial 10. You enter the southbound lanes. I'm not going to, make you guys roll as to checking whether or not you're supposed to go into the north or southbound lanes. Actually, you'll notice that in the enumeration of the highways are different from the U.S. ones. U.S. ones, the even, yeah, I think the even highways, they are. The even highways go east to west, and the odd ones go north to south. These ones, these imperial highways, it's the opposite. That may be useful information. But yeah, so you guys, there's a light amount of traffic on the Imperial 10 here in Mercy. It's a 5-lane highway at the moment on each side. Within 30 minutes, there's even less traffic, and the highway's shot down to being only 2 lanes wide. The cities become suburbs, and the suburbs themselves are dying down to become even larger fields of grass and flowers. And within an hour, you've left the city, and there's nothing in sight but untamed land and a single road crawling endlessly out into the distance. Before you know it, there's basically no cars left on the road except for like the occasional, big rig truck carrying a load of goods in a container. And with Mercy left behind, everyone's ready to go onwards to Aurea. So it's the drive so far through Anarch has been long and boring. Ever since leaving Mercy, the signs of civilization have been incredibly sparse. Like every 5 to 6 hours, you guys pass through like a small village, and
Just like Texas.
yeah, and these things are often just built on the side of the highway. Despite this, the scenery has actually been quite idyllic. The air has been clean, the outdoors have been nice and quiet, and there's been basically no traffic on the roads. Every once in a while, there's an occasional truck towing its goods, but other
just
than
like
that,
Texas.
nothing. Well, that's even how it is in like Riverside, except like in Southern California once you get out of the city. Except I'd say there's a lot of trucks out there. Anyways, there
Trucks
had
are scary to drive against in California
not really.
because they demand more of the road than, as in like, I don't never encounter it here, but when I drive in California, they'll just turn on their blinker and start changing lanes, and you have to adjust.
Oh, that's good. That's Northern California. Those guys.
They're animals.
Yeah.
Like there was one where I was in the middle, and he just started changing lanes. I was like, "Fuck, fuck, fuck."
Yeah, we had to
Now you die, bitch.
we had to
Yeah, and there's
really
someone
speed.
behind me. I was like, "Back up!" And I just laid on the horn. I was like, "Dude, I can't."
Yeah, we had a really bad experience in New Mexico where there's like a guy in a semi who was just like speeding like a really high amount, and he was like, vibrating back and forth in the wind, and that was very sketchy. That was very scary.
He's
But
a
yeah,
bad truck driver. Most of them actually don't speed.
yeah, you know how strict it is to get one of those licenses? Like your blood alcohol level, it has to be really low when you drive. Like it's like a
Well,
quarter
yeah,
of the
because
legal limit.
if you hit another car with a car,
Yeah, it's
less
just
likely you're gonna.
that.
If you hit someone with a semi, you
And
might
it's
not
over.
even find the body.
Yeah, that's an automatic.
It might be in
GG.
another county.
Yeah,
Automatic GG, Nori.
yeah, like
It's just like you die. A semi touches you, you die.
yeah. Basically on the
The
way.
semi isn't gonna know.
Yeah, on the way from like past urban Southern California to what is that place called? Phoenix. There's basically it's mostly trucks on the road, and mind you, there's like mountainous areas and stuff like that on the between the two areas, and the rest of it's desert. So it's the weirdest thing. Anyways, so yeah, you guys have been driving for, just like one morning. This drive takes days. You guys see that you're running low on fuel on your cars. And so you guys kind of have to stop at the next village to check for fuel. Thankfully, there's a set of rundown shacks and houses coming up. Uh, your Dale, your character's the driver, right? Good old
Yep.
Good old Welkin. Yeah, so you actually see a half-rotten wooden sign set up on the side of the road that says "Petrol in City," with poor capitalization. But you guys don't.
Does it look like it's written with a marker, or is it like an actual sign?
It's like a makeshift wooden sign. Like
Okay.
you remember like in that SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob makes
I
the
was gonna say
wet
like a
floor
fifth grader
sign.
did it for its art project.
Where SpongeBob makes the wet floor sign for Mr. Krabs because he didn't have one. You can think of it like that, if you remember
Okay.
what that one looks like.
I don't, but okay.
Oh, anyways,
The one with a bunch of nails sticking out.
yeah. So it's just like this very makeshift sign. You guys pull into the village. It looks like a very poor place. Instead of windows, all these shacks have blankets that cover the openings in their walls. Some people are just living out of makeshift tents. And there are no power lines in sight. Thankfully, the highway actually has a proper exit into the village. You guys take the exit, take the right there, and the paved road leading into town quickly becomes a crumbly mess of asphalt before becoming a packed dirt road. So you guys went from like this modern highway to a dirt road within a matter of like half a minute. And there, the town presents itself. There are a lot of convent Aurorans going about their business. In fact, everyone seems to be a convent Auroran here. There are some men working in some fields, farming. And there are some women sweeping the areas in front of their homes. And there's like children playing with rocks and tin cans and around piles of dirt. You guys lay your eyes on the gas station, if it could even be called that. There's a stack of bald tires. There's 3 stacked on top of each other, and then a 4th one put up vertically, and a wooden sign nailed onto there reading gas. There are a few convent Aurorans hanging out on the dirt lot, one of them sitting in a metal chair. There's a cylindrical tank with a hose alongside a nearby stand that has a woman scrambling to assemble some kind of display of goods as she sees the party approaching their cars.
Okay, we know the drill. All the minorities hide.
Wait, what?
I'm just making a joke.
Jesus. Fucking shit.
Anyway, so you guys, you don't really have much of a choice. You guys need gas. But as you guys are going to the gas station, you guys turn your head to the left. There's a set of 2 modern military vehicles parked in an empty lot across from the gas station, along with 2 clean white tents set alongside a few soldiers clothed in black armor going about some kind of business. And because Liz is on your team, Liz is from Stefan. Stefan, as you guys know, I pronounced it like one time really good in the last session. Because Liz is from Stefan, she knows that these are instantly a Stefan guardsmen. They're an elite, you know, an elite military unit from Stefan, and they often serve all around the Empire. And find small garrisons of them in basically every capital city of the Empire and all their governorate capitals and things like that. So all she tells you that, and all you guys know this now. But these men do look entirely out of place due to having modern vehicles. They have modern like communication stuff and things like this, and they're living in a place of absolutely medieval conditions all around them. But yeah, you guys pull into the gas station, and the old convent Auroran man in the chair points to the area beside the gas tank, and it's clear that this is where he's going to refuel you from. You guys park there, and he runs up to the driver's side of the car, and he knocks on your window. What are you gonna do? He looks friendly, so he doesn't look like he's insane or anything. Just
So he came up to. So we pulled up to this gas station, and he came up to us and knocked on our window, right?
Yeah. It seems like he's going to refuel you guys.
Okay. We're in New Jersey, apparently.
Yeah. So he's like, you can see him mouthing, or saying, need a Phillip? The correct answer is yes, because you guys need gas. So you want to tell me yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. You're gonna have to pay up. Yeah. So he fills you up, and he starts asking you guys for the money. It will cost 250 Anok staff. That's kind of like $250. You guys have a big gas tank, are in the middle of nowhere.
How does he
that
know
is-
how much? How does he know how much gas we need?
He kind of just ballparks it.
But we have an unusually large gas tank. How
Yeah.
does he know
He
that?
has a way to measure the volume of gas put out somehow. Yeah, there's probably a gauge on the stupid tank. Anyways, yeah, you guys have to pay him money. Or you
This
can
man.
also try bartering with them. Or they'll actually take any currency. You might have an idea of that.
See, that's why I said all the minorities should hide. Now we're getting robbed.
Dude, we have an absurd amount of guns. We are the rednecks in this situation.
Yeah, there's also military people like right across the way.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it
was 250 Anok to fill it up.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's just you have a really big tank, and the gas is a bit
sounds
overpriced.
like
You
an
guys
absurd
can,
amount of money though.
yeah, it is a bit overpriced, but I mean it's one of those things where you're in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere else to refuel really. It's kind of hard to get gas out there.
Unless if the other military people weren't right there, I was gonna say, can you guys just want to vote into just killing the guy and just taking the gas?
No.
I mean, yeah, no, we can't do it now that there's like other military people here, but
Let's not. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Let's not catch unnecessary attention.
no Grand Theft Autoing stuff.
All right. So I think we can all agree that. Oh, whoops. I need to see something here. Rack is paying the gas fee.
I mean,
Why?
and you
'Cause you're
guys
so
have
bloodthirsty, that's
yeah,
the
you guys
punishment.
have all the cash to pay for it. I mean, you guys spent very few of your Anok staff.
I mean, yeah, but like you still don't like getting ripped off is not exactly a nice feeling, even if you have the money for paying for it.
Yeah, we also don't have another option.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe when we find the lizard guy, we'll.
Okay, let's.
Get money
Right.
from him.
I was gonna say just set the
Play
lizard
the
guy on.
nose game. Whoever touches her nose last pays.
I mean,
All right,
you
it
guys
played
can
out.
split
Okay.
it. You guys
I
can
mean, we
split
can
it.
we
I
can
mean,
roll to see who rolls the lowest and pays.
you guys can
Right,
also
that works.
split it. I'll knock down 10 staff total if you guys just split it, 60 each.
Oh, I wanted to hoe wreck over, but fine. 60
I mean,
each.
you want to gamble? We can roll.
Yeah, go right ahead. That's fine with me too.
18.
I don't believe.
I'll screenshot my.
Pixar didn't happen.
I'll take a picture of the roller right now and I'll show you.
We can play around the poker.
Ooh, 17.
Yeah, I rolled a 6.
As I thought.
That's fucked up.
Sohel, what have you rolled?
I haven't.
Oh, you're not going to?
I mean, you
He
deciding,
took the
right?
smartest route. He took the smartest route and just refused to roll in the first place.
16.
16. All right, that means.
My god. Come on.
Yeah, so Liz cracks out the money and pays for the gas. The guy seems very polite about it, and he says thank you. But while he's still filling you up, the convent Auroran lady comes up to your cars. She looks quite young, and she's carrying a basket of snacks and drinks, and she's offering to sell them. She goes up to you guys one by one in the cart and says, 1 staff. That's how much she's selling them for. And she said it kind of almost mindlessly to you guys, one out of a time. Do you guys want to buy the snacks?
Right now.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
Wait,
No.
Mason, why do you not have any Enoch staff?
Oh, he should have some.
He has 12. So I have 1247 Enoch staff, and he has 1247 Cathay staff.
We got some money from the
I might have
military
labeled it
guy.
wrong.
Yeah, you guys should have money from Anok, Cathay, and Imperial. I can give you guys the numbers again if you need me to.
Let's see, Mason has 200 Stefan staff,
Stephine staff.
0 sword, 1060 Imperial staff. Huh. I have way more money than you do.
I just
I
took it
think
off
you
of
might
my
have
Imperial
forgotten
staff.
to record the money that we got from the military.
I think the only thing I'm missing is the Enoch.
I know that your currency disappeared last session, I think. You deleted it or something. I can give you how much money you are supposed to have if you need me to.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Alright, 1 second. I need to jump to that part. Let's see here. He gives you funding. Okay, so let's see here. You should have 12,500 Cathay staff,
Okay.
1,200 Anok staff,
Okay.
2,500 Imperial staff,
Ah.
and then you have like 50 Stephine staff. That's just like what you had already.
Oh, okay.
Like in your pocket.
Mine said 50 or 200.
Okay, yeah, that works. You're probably not going to get to use it, so that's all right.
It seemed appropriate.
It wasn't.
Yeah, so none of you guys want to buy these snacks? That are
I mean,
being
we
peddled?
bought tons of food.
Yeah, well, that's fine. They're just there for flavor. Yeah, you guys actually notice that the snacks are kind of old and stale, but they are well branded common snacks. They just seem a bit old. So as the fueling's going on, you notice that a lot of the convent Aurorans are pouring out of basically every crevice of the earth, and kind of surrounding your car, and they're looking
Hold
inside.
it!
And yeah, they don't seem to be like hostile or anything, but they kind of just like look very curious. They're particularly interested in Rock because he's a convent Auroran. Oh, also in Bidor because he's a Vitalian. So kind of look quite similar. So yeah, they're all like crowded around your car, looking in, and then all of a sudden a gunshot rings out like in the air. And you guys like look in your rearview mirror or whatever, and you see that there's a few of the soldiers from the little camp there. They're coming over. They have their weapons pointing in the air, and they shot a warning shot. And everybody's like, "Come on, get out of here! Leave these people in peace." So the soldiers shoo the 20 or so people away. They're mostly women and children. they all back away from the gas station, and there's only the two people who were there in the
Yes,
first
fire a
place.
gun at a gas station.
No,
Yeah,
they shot it in the air,
it's big
like
brain plans and
like
stuff like that.
directly in the air, you know.
I mean,
Still, the bullet
there
is
is
going to
gravity.
eventually come down.
Yeah. So these soldiers they go up to Welkin to speak to you. They're like, yeah. They knock on your window to try and get you to roll it down. Do you want to roll it down?
Yeah, sure. It's the soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, sorry about that. These people they're not really used to seeing outsiders. They just try and make some quick cash off of you. They're harmless though. Uh,
So then the warning shot seemed a little bit excessive.
he's like, yeah, it's impossible for them to ignore them. That's why we do it. Can't give us excuses. That being said, we have a few questions for you. They're quite standard, really. Where are you coming from and where are you going?
Kyle, I'm going to. So we came from Mercy,
Yes.
and we're going to.
Aurea.
Are these Imperial soldiers, or are they specifically of a province? And are we in that province?
You guys are still in Anarch. These guys are basically. So because you have Liz on your team, she already told you about these Stephene guards. Basically, they serve the governorate of Anarch, and for some reason, these guys are just deployed in the city. It looks like a legitimate deployment. They have their tent set up and their vehicles, and everything looks quite normal for a little garrison like this. But yeah, they serve the local governorate.
Okay. Where was Mercy?
What do you mean where?
So I mean, we talked to a soldier. I am curious if these soldiers are a part of, like, if the man that we talked to that initially gave us this mission is of the same military and of a higher rank, is what I'm curious about.
So these guys, they're part of they're part of the Stephene Guard. It's basically a subsection of the Imperial military. They're kind of, you can think of them like special forces, though they're kind of more like I don't know, what is it? They're kind of just there to look good, I guess. They're
Okay, I think Liz should answer these questions
okay. Yeah. Liz, why don't you answer then?
since Liz is a special forces person from Stephene. I feel like you can bullshit your way out of it.
So Liz she's part of the intelligence agency in Stefan. But yeah, she's familiar with Stephene guards and stuff like that. She grew up in Stefan, so no doubt she knows about them.
I'm gonna say some theme jargon.
Oh no.
They kind of speak the same language as everyone else, so you're not gonna get nowhere.
No, but I mean, like, I want to show that I myself am
No.
being.
Okay, yeah, they're like, oh, hey, someone else from you are from the actual city, and they're like, oh yeah. So you mentioned that, and they're like, oh yeah, we're also from the city Stefan. Nice to see you. But still, where are you coming from? Where are you going?
I visited a professor along with my friends here to talk about some research.
Wow, could not be more sketchy.
Yeah, so they're like, well, you guys don't seem to be particular. Just in the future, try not to make yourself look suspicious, all right?
Is he saying that, or are you saying that personally?
The soldier's saying that.
Okay.
We're just very socially awkward computer programmers.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like you're under like any actual suspicion. It looks like they're just to ask you a routine question, and you guys kind of just like froze up
I mean,
or whatever.
I didn't freeze up. The way I imagine it in my head is that, whenever I was asked the question, I looked at Liz. I mean, it's not uncommon for a single person to answer for a car and not be the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine it was at least somewhat fluid and didn't look like we froze up.
Oh, okay.
But the way that Mason answered definitely was suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Like, all the information I think would have been good is like, we came from this city and we go into that other one.
Yeah, that's actually all you needed to say. as I look at the dialogue options I wrote out, if you had given any reasonable lie, they would have been like, oh yeah, okay, thank you, just making up sure you're not up to any, that you're not up to no good, so you're not doing anything.
So what are you doing? It's like, oh, we're
Is
transporting illegal immigrants.
Yeah, they would have been like, that's not a funny joke.
I know, but also, what would you expect from someone to answer that? Like, I don't understand the point of their job. I was assuming that if whatever we answered, we were about to be searched, and that would have been
So I'm
bad.
like, what is this? Like some watered down version of Something Frisk, or
Oh, no,
See, like, because it was such a it's such a pointless question that I don't understand how they they gain no information either way,
yeah,
unless someone's an absurdly bad liar to an extent,
yeah.
which evidently Liz is.
she actually shouldn't be a bad liar considering her career, but. Anyways, so after like he asks you this question, there's another soldier who comes running from the small camp, and so you can't really hear what they're talking about because he goes up to one of the other soldiers and start talking, but all you know they're whispering, and all you hear is shit. And one of the soldiers says that, and then the one who had actually questioned you, so he goes up to the driver's window again. He's like, okay, all right, so let's be honest, you don't have a part in this village at all. But if you'd be able to spare some time, our captain would like to speak with you. If you can't, that's fine. You're free to go. But if you'd like to stay for a bit, you're welcome to park anywhere off the roads.
This sounds shady as
Why would your captain want to speak with 4 random people who just drove through?
We've had a bit of a situation here in this village. He can fill you up on it. Like, did you guys think we were here to arrest you or something?
well.
No,
just
but
the
it's an
situation by
interesting
itself
thing
is
that you'd
kind of
ask a favor of
weird.
random people when you yourself are in the military. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's been some stuff going on here. Not like violent or anything, but you know, it's a small village problems. You don't get these kinds of issues in a city. And still, most of you guys are from cities, like you and I. But yeah, if you guys don't want to stay, like that's no problem. You don't have anything to do with this village. We kind of need someone impartial, is what it is.
What
And
kind of problem?
so I don't want to spoil my bias in it, but yeah, we have a doctor in town, and there's an issue with that, like some tension between her and the villagers. Yeah, my captain, he wants to speak with you about it to see if you can help him with it. Yeah, it's just been like a problem with it. Again, like if you guys don't want to help, like that's fine. But if you want to, just park wherever and make sure you're just off the road. You can even park right next to our base. That's fine.
Hmm.
Let's say the people.
Yeah, there's what? What did you say?
I said, what say the people?
I mean, in my opinion, it sounds shady as fuck, but we can. You guys are feeling for like maybe a side
It's a
adventure or something.
it's a doctor issue. Don't we have a doctor with us? I mean, not all of us need to get down because I don't want to be.
Okay, can I ask him? Is this a medical issue?
No, our
It
doctor is
sounds
fine.
like it's a conflict of like the doctor is saying we need to do X, and the villagers are saying fuck science, we need to do Y.
Yeah, it's what. Okay, fine.
I mean, you have to understand, if you want, like, this is a proposition out of nowhere. I want to make sure that we're not getting ourselves into trouble.
Yeah, let me get my captain. You guys stay here, and I'll get him. So a few moments later, the captain comes running out. He's not armed or anything. Well, he has a sidearm at his side, but other than that, he's not armed. And
Pulls it out, blows my brains out.
so he dismisses
Say hello to my little friend.
he dismisses the soldiers that were with you guys for a second, and
Okay.
he's like, yeah, sorry, I wanted to talk with you guys. Let's see here. I just need to get to the right part. He's like, okay, good afternoon. I'm Captain Pelon Tureen. I'm the commander of this garrison. First, I know this was a bit of a strange introduction. Residents here get a bit overenthused when new people come into town. Normally, we wouldn't fire a shot into the air, but we've had a bit of a situation. I think you guys, yeah, I'll fill you in on the drama moment in a moment. Second, again, like you're free to stretch your feet here for a few hours before you get back on the road. The drive's always a pain, and you're welcome here. Yeah, so about this thing, I want to ask you guys a bit of a favor, if possible. You see, none of you are from around here, and at the moment we're having a bit of it might turn into something a bit bigger than this. You see, we're here to protect Dr. Donna Vaughn. Now, you don't exactly know her, which is fine, but she was sent here by the government of Anarch to deal with the fact that this village didn't have proper access to a medical care. That's all fine and dandy, and as it turns out, one of the children here was born. One of the children who was born here was recently found to be a diabetic. This isn't really, so much of a problem in a city, since, we're used to that. But these convent Aurorans out here in rural areas don't really suffer from it, and it has to do with their diet. So Ms. Vaughn, she had to constantly prick the kid and inject him with insulin, and now the parents are starting to think that she's performing some kind of sick magic on him, and now we have some really angry parents. Also, you notice that this captain is Stephine, which is how it's said. So now she gets this and tells the government, and we're assigned here. I get it. Don't want the pretty lady to be beaten up due to the fact that she's dealing with savages. With us here, we were able to mediate the disputes, and really our convents have been godsends with this. But as it turns out, we've caused a bit of a problem without realizing it. You see, Corporal Seta is one of my men who's here. He's a good guy, but I guess he was triple cursed with being Stephine, having a thing for convent Aurorans, and being deployed here. Long story short,
no.
he got Ms. Vaughn pregnant 2 months ago, and one of the ladies here saw that and has spread the word around the whole town. Now, nobody trusts her, and Dr. Vaughn's taking the fucking diabetic kid up into her custody to ensure the little dude doesn't die. Now, this is clear an issue, and you can see why I want to resolve it peacefully. The villagers here are a bit conservative for my taste, but I can't do shit about that, and they're honest, hardworking people. Ms. Vaughn is an absolute pleasant person to be around, and I don't think she meant to hurt anyone by doing this, but she's really put us in the toilet. You see, this is where I'm hoping you can come in. Ms. Vaughn is refusing to step out, claiming it's her personal duty to take care of the kid. I can't convince her, and the locals here are starting to think that we're in on the plot too. But you're not. You just got here. And if your government forces, it's not obvious to me. You're neutral, but you might be able to do this better than me. Since I'm not going to lie, I'd say Vaughn before the people here, and I know my men would make that decision too. So tell me, can you help us?
I still can't see how we'd be useful.
Maybe we can have a little conference between the four of us.
What? Speak up.
You sound like you're a mile away.
Oh, maybe we can have a conference between the four of us.
Yeah, basically, so let us discuss amongst ourselves and we'll give you our answer.
Yeah, and again, you're free to ask me any questions about the situation.
Okay, and I guess we roll out the window temporarily to discuss among ourselves.
The only concern I have is if you just leave the car and just go and help them, our cars will be checked.
Yeah, that's my concern as well.
I mean, we don't have any obligation to any of this, so if you guys don't want to do it.
You guys also have to remember that you may recall that where all your weapons are stored, it's locked via fingerprints, right? Where all your weapons should hopefully be stored.
So they're not like in plain view.
Yeah, they aren't in plain view or anything. You have like a specially modified car. You press a button that takes your fingerprint and it pops open the hidden compartments that store all your weapons.
Oh, okay. I'm much less concerned about this then. I'm more inclined to help now.
Yeah, on the bright side, it'd be good to have some allies.
Yeah, so you guys want to roll down the window and tell them your decision?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you guys tell him yes, I assume?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, he's like, that's great. That's great. You can find Ms. Vaughn in her trailer down the road. You don't have to worry about driving there. It's walking distance. That being said, you're free to ask me any questions, and You have a few villagers around, and you have my men you can talk to.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, the village is yours to explore. There's like a set of houses like across the street from the gas station. There's a group of 3 or 4 teenagers. There's a woman with a young child. She's breastfeeding, and then there's like a 20-year-old man, and there's like a middle-aged a man sitting out there, and then there's 3 groups of soldiers in the military camp. There's the captain himself, and then you can head down the road to go to the clinic. So you guys should probably hunt down for some more information about what's going on here.
Yeah, I suppose we can start asking. Okay, so he gave us the sort of the breakdown that this doctor wants to help this person. The other people don't know really what they're doing, so they're concerned. And then what's the issue with who's the guy that slept with the doctor?
It's you ask more about him. Let's see here. Yeah, he's like, let's see here. What does he say? Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's one of my soldiers. You'll probably find him outside of Vaughn's trailer. Since he likes to make sure that she's safe, and I'll allow that. He's not a bad guy. He's just put us in a bit of a worse situation, He kind of feels bad about what he did. My men have told him that he was trying to get a ring for Vaughn before she started to show her pregnancy, so the damage would be minimized. Though my men are still telling that he's trying to get a ring, even though she's showing. Maybe he's not just looking to save face in front of the town. That being said, I think his girl's getting a bit too much of a hold on him, He really liked her before the whole pregnancy, and now that she's carrying his kid, I'm just a bit afraid that he'll start prioritizing her orders over mine, and that's not the military way. So it seems to be a consensual relationship, is what you guys pull from this.
Okay, I just have a question of restatement for
Mm-hmm.
why is the fact that he got this doctor pregnant the problem?
As Rock will tell you, convent Auroran societies are very closed off. If you marry and you only have children, you only have sex inside of wedlock. If you don't, you are exiled. You can only marry inside of your race, among other convent Aurorans, or you are exiled. It's a very closed off society, is essentially what it boils down to. And yeah, if you do something wrong, they'll just exile you.
Basically, we're in the 1950s, and interracial sex is still not a thing.
Okay.
It's in this town in particular. So all convents across like the whole world that you know of are like this, but in that they exile their members if they marry outside the race. But you also know that in cities, it's not like it's looked down upon in the convents, but it is clearly not the end of the world.
But I mean, I don't understand the problem because these people aren't from their city.
Yes, but okay. So what it is let's see here. So yeah, do you want to ask for more information about this Vaughn girl, Donna Vaughn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, oh yeah, Dr. Donna Vaughn is a convent Auroran. So that's what the issue is she's part of the same people group as the people in this village. So she's expected to hold by the same societal rules and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So they just want her gone because she broke the rules essentially.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, she's like, yeah, she's aged around 33. She's from Mercy. I don't think she came from a particularly strict background given her actions. Or maybe she's just damn rebellious. Clearly not rebellious enough to break the doctor stereotype. But lady could be a model if she wanted to. She's really pretty. That means a lot that means a lot of the men here have a crush on her, which is kind of weird. And a lot of the women are jealous. She's clearly city folk like us, though. Wears makeup, wears clothes that these convents don't consider appropriate, though fine to us. My men hear some of the people calling her an evil seductress that harvests the souls of children, but I think that's just the tradition talking.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone to
So
be.
if the doctor's the problem, why can't you just bring in another doctor?
Oh, she was sent here by the government. Uh, we were sent here to protect her.
I understand, but clearly now there is a problem, and the easiest way to solve the problem, I would say, would be to bring in another doctor.
Yeah, you should talk to her about that. We kind of don't really have the authority to do that. We just have orders to protect her. In many ways, we serve alongside her, but we're neither above or below her. Can't really,
Okay, so I suppose we should go talk to her then.
yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, and there's all these other people you can talk to too. Might be a good thing to do to get a better hold of the situation.
Can we go talk to the dude that slept with her?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be in the immediate area. You think that he is where the clinic is, which is what the captain said.
Yeah, he said he was by the
yeah,
trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone else wants to talk to anyone else,
I mean, the main people to talk to seem to be the doctor or the guy. Honestly, probably the doctor more.
Yeah, and
I think let's talk with the doctor first.
I mean, I'd say we talk to the guy because at the moment it looks like the doctor doesn't want to talk to anyone, so we might want to get him to help us talk to her.
That's a fair point.
Okay.
yeah, okay, so you guys either walk or drive to the clinic. Do you guys just which one you want to do? It's not far. You guys can kind of see it.
I mean, is our car still sitting in the same spot that whenever we got here, or have we moved
You
it
guys
next
can
to the
park it
base?
basically. You guys can park it wherever you want to, essentially, or you can just drive
I
around
say we
with it.
park it next to the base, and then I guess we'll walk to.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys go down the village road a bit further, and you find Vaughn's trailer. Let's see here. Actually, let's see.
Is the captain with us?
No, he goes back to his thing. He kind of leaves you be. 1 second, I need to jump on down to the correct thing.
Do we have any proof that the captain asked us to do this?
Not really, but you can just drop his name, or be like, yeah, you can check in with the captain, or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, it's a very small village. It's like 70 people, including these soldiers. So let's see here. Yeah, so you guys go down the dirt road that the doctor's supposed to be at. It takes about 3 minutes of walking, and you guys find yourselves like a matter of feet before a portable building just outside of town. It was probably brought here on a truck. It's standing on some stilts. It's fastened to the ground, and it actually looks quite new. It seems to be the only modern building standing in the area. It has a ramp leading up to the door, some windows with some blinds covering them, and it's easy enough to tell that there's some lights on behind it. There's some solar panels on the slightly sloped roof, and a little wind turbine spinning about, helping to provide some electricity. There's also a small truck parked beside the building. It's painted white, and it has a red cross painted on the front of it. And it's clear that this is a utility vehicle that the doctor uses for her job. Though you guys also see that there's a soldier in front of the place. This is probably the Corporal Seta guy that the captain mentioned. He has a rifle. It's pointed at the dirt, and he had been walking about, but he notices you guys. He goes over you guys to greet you. He appears quite strong. He has large arms, brown hair, brown eyes, and he's no doubt Stefan. You can also see that he's carrying a handgun and a knife, but he's certainly not unfriendly. He goes up to you and says, "Oh, hello, I see we have some visitors. So do you stop here for gas and decide to stay a bit to stretch your feet? Not many do. So what brings you to this part of town?"
Are you the
Okay.
guys sleeping with the doctor?
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Okay, let's see here. He's like, "Oh, that's kind of direct. But yeah, she's my girlfriend. Let's see here. What else does he say? Yeah, she's my girlfriend. Normally I wouldn't share details like this, but there's only so much bragging I can do with everyone else here. So yeah, if you go into her clinic, you'll see why she's my girlfriend. For one, she's an absolute beauty. I mean, A tier. Our fucking convents are all saying that she's all right, and just because their girls aren't nice, smart, and hot as mine, just because their girls aren't as nice, smart, and hot as mine, probably don't have as nice as an ass either.
Kyle's using language.
Yeah, I know. These are the characters who are using language, not me. My lips tingle with spiciness, though. I mean, I don't think you get it. The thing she's done to me, I don't think I'll ever be able to forget it. I mean, I'm just getting all excited thinking about it.
I blame.
What'd she do to you?
So
huh?
hell, I blame you for what's happening in this conversation.
And I'm going to instigate it even further. So what'd she do to you? Tell me.
No. Okay. No.
Hey, didn't
he
anyone
says,
hear Kyle say it?
Wait, what?
I'll say what?
He says the white lab coat she has, like some of those things they can't unsee what they've seen. But but once in a while, but there's more to us than that. I mean, we usually share meals. She cooks for me every once in a while. She even made me a cake for my birthday and gave it to me in front of all my buddies, including a kiss from her. Made them all jealous. Oh yeah, and I recently found out she's pregnant. 2 months in. I'm excited for that. Though I'm not really sure how childbirth is going to work if she's still here. Want to get her to Stefan, before she pops. Wouldn't want to lose her here, and wouldn't want that kid cursed with an Anok birth certificate. Can't wait to show her off to my family either. They'll like her for sure. They kind of like the intellectual types.
You did a bit of a 180. He went from like of his hell to I don't know, more moderate person.
You are indeed excited. Anyways, that doesn't that's none of our concern. All we want is so this.
I'm not gonna lie, I just was having fun having Kyle say stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
Vincent, you say like you don't want to hear that. Vincent, you say you didn't want to hear it. He's like, I'm just excited to share my love for her. If you can't handle that, maybe you aren't ready for a girl like her.
Oh no, like
I just step in
enjoy, by
now
all
and just
means,
say,
tell
whoa,
us
whoa,
more.
whoa. I was like, okay, this has
No,
nothing to do with why we're here. The captain has sent us to help with the situation going on in the town.
Why are you
Can we-
ruining my fun now?
Because you're ruining my fun.
No, I like this quest. Like when I wrote it, this took me so long to write. Like you don't even know. Okay, so you're looking to help out on the kid.
Yeah, the whole situation here, and from what I hear, is she's kind of locked herself in. So we've come to you so that we might be able to talk to her. It'd probably be easier to talk to her if we went through you.
He's like, oh, what? No, like our clinic's open. You guys can go right in. Yeah, like yeah, you go say hi to her for me. What does he say? Yeah, she's a really great person once you get to know her. She's always nice to have around. She's a really positive person who always brings the mood up. I'm not sure.
I just stop him, like as he's talking. Says, like, can you just give us details on what happened from your point of view that caused the situation that we're currently in?
Yeah, get old Gory. Tell us exactly how you got her pregnant.
He's like, yeah. So there's this. It's really unfortunate. There's this diabetic kid. He has to have his blood checked all the time. So he has to spend a lot of time in the doctor's office. Personally, I wouldn't want that to happen to me, but I think the spirits, my family and I are healthy. Donna said he would be getting better over time. So I'm looking forward to that. And these convents here, they kind of don't know what's going on, right? They've never had modern medical technology, anything like that. They kind of see it as magic sometimes, which is kind of weird. And between that and in our relationship, like, kind of set everything overboard. I didn't think this would happen. They're kind of really all angry at her. They won't let their children go see her anymore for, doctor things.
Okay.
It's kind of sad to see.
All right. I suppose we should just go talk to her then.
Yeah. So you guys, you're done talking to Seta. You guys enter the clinic. You open the door, and you're met with the fact that most of this trailer, it's like almost like a single room. You guys can see that, in the back, when you open the door, there's like 2 beds. There's quite a bit of medical equipment, though Welkin will tell you, as a doctor, it's not that too expensive of equipment. There's also 2 small toilets that are closed off by doors, and there's a few sinks. There's a part of the building that's obscured from view, and it's basically the patient area of the building where you put the patients. And there's also what seems to be a small apartment suite in the building. It's kind of closed behind a door, but this is definitely where the doctor lives when not working. Other than that, there's a few desks scattered about with a variety of pen, papers, and other various things scattered about. And there's also labeled cabinets everywhere, certainly containing some amount of supplies and medicine for others. And, you turn left upon entering, and you're met with the first sight of Dr. Donna Vaughn. She's most certainly an attractive woman, with black hair tied in a braid running over her left shoulder, with her blue eyes shining. She has makeup on, in particular, she has lightly pink lips. Moreover, she seems to have a particular amount of youth about her. You guys already know she's 33, but, she kind of looks a bit younger than that, though not suspiciously so. She's attractive. Maybe you think she's overhyped. Maybe you've gathered that from everything that's been said. But in terms of what she's wearing like a white coat. It completely covers her arms and runs down to her knees. She has a normal black blouse and black slacks on. You see Donna at her desk. She seems to be taking a break, and she's eating a little piece of chocolate that seems to have come from a jar on her desk. But upon you guys walking in, she stands up and tries to get in front of you guys. After she stands up, you can notice a small but noticeable bump on her stomach. And she asks, did one of you get hurt?
No, actually, we are here at the captain's behest to,
Oh.
I guess, sort of help with this situation.
I was like, sorry. I'm Donna. I'm the doctor here. Pleased to meet you. Let's see here. So you want to talk about this problem right away. Straight and to the point. Let's see here. This problem. What part of the problem in particular?
So I mean, she has the kid locked in here, basically, right?
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Okay. Let's see here. The problem child. I really shouldn't say that. He's been a point of contention between the village and I, by no fault of his own. You see, he was born diabetic, and because of that, he needs a lot more medical care. And when your baby doesn't get to see his mother much, and instead spends all his time with a doctor who's seen as a wizard, you can see where everything blows out of proportion. I just wish the parents could understand that there's something wrong with him, and no amount of home remedies or prayers will fix him.
That's on prayers. That's in prayers. Press F in the chat.
So I understand that the main cause of issue is to be with the convent Auroran beliefs and your trying to think of the word.
Relationship?
Yeah, in your relationship.
Is that you're asking about her boyfriend, or actually?
No. That was me
Yeah.
basically summing up the statement to see if she agrees.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is the people here are kind of crazy. They're nice for the most part, but yeah, they're a bit crazy sometimes. This is just one of those times. It's kind of my fault, right? I should have used better judgment. If I had done this back in Mercy, it wouldn't have been a problem, really. But here it was. Just should have used my brain. I figured they would have understood. We're both convent Aurorans, but we're all convent Aurorans here. But I guess the ones of us who were raised in cities aren't the same as the ones who are raised here.
So if the point of contention is, so it seems like the main problem with this whole situation, as far as I can see it, is yes, there is the child, but it seems to be more with their relationship with you, the doctor. Would it
Yeah.
not be easier to deal with this whole situation if another doctor came to replace you?
I guess it could be.
Even if it's just temporarily until a situation can be dealt with, if it can be.
I mean, I can ask, but they recommended me to come here. They saw I was a convent Roran, and they sent me here. The government sent me here.
But yes, now the fact that you're a convent Roran is the source of the problem.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that.
Problems-
Let me tell you. For one, I'm a woman. Do you know the things I have to hear these people say? Like, it's like they've never dealt with a woman in any kind of position of power. Like, come on. But yeah, I mean, I can ask. The government isn't entirely flexible about this, but I mean, I can always ask. It just might take a while to get a response. But I mean, that doesn't really change. It would take a while to get a doctor out here in the first place. Still have to
Okay.
deal with this for a few days. Have to risk with a child being, brought into the middle of all this.
Very well, then, and I guess then in the meantime, do you have any idea as to how you might alleviate the tensions?
Oh God, that sounded like the beginning of a bad fill in the blank.
Okay.
At least get your hair a little better.
I didn't hear that at all.
Oh, I said like this sounds like the beginning of a bad.
I heard you, but thought I heard Mason say something.
Oh, he just told me to get my mind out of the gutter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I can think. I mean, handing the child back is always an option. Like, I know that it's something.
Yeah, understandably but that will cause deterioration of the child's health, right?
Yes. I have to have the child on hand. I have to, run his blood tests and things like that. Other ways to solve the problem. I mean, that's the thing. I can't really find any other ways, like, without hurting people unnecessarily.
Internally, I think Jesus Christ, the only way you know how to solve this problem is with violence. What the hell kind of doctor are you? That's my internal monologue. And externally, I say is like, well, perhaps is there any way that we could, at least to an extent, educate or prove that you're not some sort of wizard, and that the stuff that you're doing does help people.
Oh, I know how we can show that she's not a witch. We just put stones on her legs and throw her in the river, and if she floats, she's a witch. If
she floats, she's a duck, and if she's a duck, then she's a witch.
She says, "Look, I've been trying to educate these people as long as I've been here. It hasn't helped. I think they've only grown to distrust me.
So at the moment, is it that they don't trust you, or is it that they don't trust what you're doing?
I think it's a mix of both. They were always skeptical about me. I mean, if you look at it from their perspective, right? You're in a village. You've never seen anything like electricity. Probably only seen a few cars in your life. No running water, and all of a sudden one day, a truck drops off a building, and some people get out, set it up, and then I'm here. And then I start having to go around, give shots to children, educate them on all these various things, and I can see where they have the distrust, and I can see where a distrust in medicine. I can see where they have a distrust in me for some of the actions I've done. But
tell them you're the second coming of whatever your equivalent of Jesus Christ is.
Yeah, if she was the second coming of Jesus Christ, she wouldn't have gotten pregnant. That's kind of the problem here.
Oh no, like she got pregnant by it was the Holy Ghost.
Someone caught them. One of the convent Aurorans caught them.
No, not in the act. Basically, one of them saw that she was pregnant.
So you say you can still be like, no, like they were dating. But
I don't think that fits in their religion.
It was the Holy Ghost that got her pregnant.
I mean, you guys kind of all align with the same religion, by the way. It's kind of like a universal religion. And Rock knows it best.
So they went around killing even more people.
I tell her that I mean, I still don't get the problem. Like if the villagers don't like you or trust you, why do you care? Just do your job or don't do your job.
I do my job. It's my job
Yeah.
to help them, and I'm helping them. They may not like it, but that's what I'm here to do.
I mean, you don't have to mix with the villagers, so what's the big problem here?
I don't have to mix with villagers. I have to see them practically every day. I have to do health checkups on them. I have to look at their children to make sure they're doing all right. Like all these various things I have to do. You know, whenever one of them gets hurt, I have to look at them. That's you know, I guess that was before the pregnancy. Now they don't really see me anymore because they've grown to distrust me too much. But you know, they used to come by. Thankfully, I have the soldiers who help. You know, they keep me company every once in a while. You know, give them haircuts, things like that. If you know one of them needs to be checked up on, I can do that. But yeah, it's very sad that they don't trust me. That the villagers don't trust me.
Hmm. I mean, you can always just leave the village or something. I mean, you don't have to do the job or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's crossed my mind. Yeah, I've been, you know, I think you know I have a boyfriend here. I've kind of been thinking about moving to Stefan. You know, get away from all this. You know, just start a new life with him. But I have at the moment I can't do that. I'm supposed to work here for the time being, and yeah, I can't just leave. I'm on a contract with the government too, and like I don't think you understand like how important this practice is here. This so you know I don't just get to work as a doctor in a practice that's not mine. You know, I essentially run my own practice here on the government's dime. And do you know how important this is for my experience? Like for my future career paths? Like this is very important. I can use the experience I get here to set up my own practice and make a lot more money than a normal doctor.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Is there anybody in the village who is a little less conservative and whom we may probably can talk to?
I mean, you should talk to the soldiers here. Are the most level-headed ones of them all. I mean, of
Not
course.
the soldiers.
Oh, not
Yeah,
the soldiers.
they're not members of the village.
Oh,
I mean, you've been treating the patients. You probably have talked with most of them. I mean,
yeah.
is there anybody who is a little bit rational?
I am not a fan of him because I know he dislikes me. But there is a man. So of course, yeah. He's one of the farmers here. He has 2 sons and a daughter, I think. Yeah. He lives like right across the gas station. I think he has his head. I think he has his head screwed on a bit more straight than everyone else. Maybe you should talk to him. Maybe he can
Also,
help.
what about the parents of the child?
What about them?
I mean, I assume talking to them might be bad, might be useful in some way as well.
You can try. They're probably hysterical though. You know, again, these people are blind to what I'm doing. They think that what I'm doing is mysticism essentially, and when it's not. It's standard practice medicine.
I say we stop.
Yeah, I guess we can go talk to that one guy.
I mean, I'm saying if you talk to the parents, I don't think we'll make any progress. Like they'll just think we are trying to advocate her, and things will get worse. I think we should get hold of someone more rational and try to talk him through.
Okay, so yeah, you guys have actually seen this guy. He was kind of waiting out already after you guys were done at the gas station and talked to the captain. You guys go up to him. He's like 50 years old or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. So you guys go up to him. He's an older Auroran man. You know, it can be a bit hard to tell his age, but he's somewhere in his 40s or 50s. He's sitting down and resting. And yeah, as Donna told you, he seems to be a father of a few of a young man who's sitting somewhat by him. He looks like a farmer. He looks quite clean, and he seems to be holding himself quite well. You go up to him, and he says, "Ah, have you come here just to be pawns of the immoral?"
So I guess you don't like the interracial sex stuff either.
Wow, that's gonna go well with a very prudish city.
Uh, he said,
Jesus.
let's see here. You are a convent. He's
Gotta
like,
have
you
some
know,
spice
we
to
never
life.
needed
Yeah,
you
we,
out.
we, we, sh- we should have tied this guy in the car.
He said,
Also, Louise, you should be the one that's talking the most, and also trying to get along with them the best.
yeah, at what you said, he
Fine,
says,
I'll behave.
we never needed you outsiders, and now you come in droves and waves. You best get back in your car and go away.
We're just trying to help the situation out here a little. You guys had a lot of people dying before because you didn't have a doctor, right? Now you have one, so I think it's in your best interest for you all to try to get along.
All right. So then, what do you want to know about the situation then? I can fill you in on my perspective, but
Oh yeah, what is your perspective in the whole thing? To us, at least, it seems like the main problem is not really with the kid that is diabetic, but her relationship with the military guy.
yeah, he's going to. So yeah, let me tell you about my thoughts on the doctor. We did not ask for her. Our traditional methods of healing, brought with us from Aurora from times long ago, have served us well. We had no choice in any doctor showing up. It was just one day a trailer was brought into town on a truck, dropped here, with a small group of officials who told us that times had to change. Perhaps we would not have protested so much if they had chosen a better doctor. It would seem like they wanted to bring someone familiar to us by choosing one of our kind, that is a convent Auroran, but they picked a woman from the city, and a bold one at that. She contrasts directly with our society. No doubt that you have heard of the great misunderstandings from others that we see her as an evil seducer of men. This is true. She is a seductress who performs great sorceries, wears revealing clothes, tempting our young men, faithful fathers alike with her pale skin and flushed face, alongside showing her breasts and rear. She applies minerals to her face, turning back the clock of her visage by years, as just one work of sorcery, bringing great envy to our women. But her wizardry and her seduction have not been the result of any malice on her part. She was born evil in the great cities of the empire we reside in. It is not her fault she was born beautiful, that she was born in a city and brought up in their urban traditions, and learned the magic of the world in academies far away. But just as much it is not our fault of her, just as much it is no fault of our own that she is here. She was imposed on us. This empire let a wolf in the sheep, let a wolf in among the sheep, let a predator into the prey. And now that she is here, all she does is that which she has ever known, practicing the foul spells that she was trained to use. She has used our children as vessels of her magic, performing great feats on them, and no doubt that if you were us, you would not know such unfamiliar uses of wizardry.
Wasn't he supposed to be the reasonable guy?
Yes.
So you say it's
So you're saying
so no, wait. What has she done since beyond helping this one child? Has she attempted to help others with her, as you call it, wizardry?
It is true that she has improved the health of our families, and for that I am thankful. But she has also done harm. She has taught our children the horrific lessons of reproduction, encouraging them to fruitlessly attempt to procreate for pleasure, and to be careful to avoid childbirth. We also believe her to have a spell that allows her to eliminate the gift of pregnancy. Moreover, she has whored herself out to the soldiers who we now share a village with. No doubt that you have talked to their leader and that he has told you that she has been cursed with the acceptance of the seed of one of the foreign men here. She has shamed our people by willingly partaking in a relationship with him. That is not our way, and we cannot attempt to endorse this. And seeing as Rack is present, and he continues, and no doubt that your Auroran companions can tell you that this is normal in all communities of our kind.
No, it's not. You guys
It
are
is.
just. I mean, yeah, but not in the cities.
It's
I'm
not
from a city.
It's not as harsh here.
So for us, it's not. So for me, it's not because I'm
Yeah.
from a city.
Yeah, like
I tell the guy, yes, you're absolutely right. She's a very horrible person. She's a sea doctress and blah 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 whatever.
I
And
assume
then
you don't actually say that.
yeah, I say that.
Oh no. All right, carry on.
Um, So what do you want exactly with her?
let's see.
I think he's made it clear he wants her gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
But
So
as far as we understand, I don't think she will be gone because it's from the order
yeah,
of the
it's not her
hierarchs.
place that she's here in the first place. If she were to leave, they would only bring another, which is, I guess, part of the problem. But regardless of who she is as a person and what she has done, the knowledge that she holds of the wizardry that you call is in fact useful, and there are others that do know this.
Yeah, as I said, she has improved the health of our people.
So would it be fine if another doctor was brought in besides her, who could
No.
do the same things?
No, because whoever they would bring in next would simply repeat the same lessons that she has tried to force onto our own children, and bring the same magical practices and the same curses and everything else.
I'm gonna
Wait,
shoot this
what
guy.
curses? What curses?
The curse that allows her to eliminate the gift of pregnancy.
Ah, that curse. Okay.
That's one of the curses.
That allows her
That's
to
actually a
eliminate-
spell. He said it was a spell.
Okay, that's why I was confused because I don't remember him saying curses before. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm out of
Okay,
ideas.
so the problem is that. Okay, so why? Okay. Why did you just let her be? You guys stay yourselves. Just use her wizardry to your advantage and blah 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 blah.
She is one of us. She is, as you outsiders call, a convent Auroran. If she is to be a member, if she is to be like us, she must obey by the rules of society, which she has not done. She should be exiled. And if she was from our village, she would have been hanged for her actions.
I'm kind of agreeing with the doctor now with the whole violent route. I'd say in my inner monologue.
Technically, she is exiled.
Yeah,
Yes,
technically.
but she has not been legally exiled. So, like, if she were to go back to Mercy, yeah, she would be exiled, like, formally. Speaking of that, so Rock, are you exiled or are you not?
I'm not.
Okay, I just need to know that. Okay. Yeah, again, you may want to try talking to the soldiers. They have a bit more of a level head on everything.
Yeah, I think it would be better to talk to the soldiers before.
Also, it is 10 p.m.
Oh yes,
Because we started late, we might not want to run as late.
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are done, like, you just let me know. Like,
Any ideas?
I
Who
think-
would we talk next.
I think you guys
As
should talk to
as
the
for
soldiers.
the way the story is going,
I
how
have
do
a
you
rough
explain
idea
to someone
how.
that has no desire to do
Yeah.
it? But yeah.
I have a rough idea how these things usually go.
I vote for the violent route at this point.
Yeah, that'll go well. That's always gone well in the past.
That will
There's
that will
never been a
definitely
situation
be
where that's
something.
gone bad. There's
Well,
never been a situation where it's gone really, really bad.
there has also been many situations that it has worked out great.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can say many.
Well, I mean, think about just historically, just Christianity. Like the reason it's so widespread is because of you either convert or we kill you. So that's a big example of violence
Okay,
being what
Making it better?
it didn't make it better, but it accomplished their goal of spreading it.
Deus Vult.
You can't spread it to people. Okay.
Am I wrong?
Well, I'm saying that their goal is to spread the knowledge to these people. You can no longer spread the knowledge if there are no longer people.
Oh yeah, not just force them to convert to science or
No,
that kind of
so
stuff.
these convent Aurorans, they are markedly resistant to attempts to assimilate them. So as a convent Auroran yourself, you live in Aurea, a city that is historically a lot more convent Auroran, but as of past 200 years, it's been a lot more Cathaic. And this is like basically all around the world. These pockets of convent Aurorans, they kind of just leak people out a little bit of a time. So some exiles leave, but other than that, they just continue to increase in numbers. Like they don't really get assimilated. They may adapt to society, but they kind of never really disappear. They're kind of like the Jews in this case.
I mean, the way they talk, they sound like Mormons. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
just these guys. As Rock could tell you, yeah, the people from Aurea aren't like this. It's because you guys are just in like the middle of nowhere, essentially, in tiny town Anna.
Why are we dealing with this again?
I don't know.
It's side quest.
Hmm. We need to do. Should we talk with anybody else? I don't
I don't see how the soldiers can help in any way.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the situation looks like a bit of a lost cause to me.
So it could be that there's something more going on behind the scenes that you can use to solve the problem.
We can stay here for a few days. Do they have
I
good
see.
food here?
I don't understand how there could be more going on beyond the scenes than the two main problems of either party have no idea. Like, if there was some confliction of explanations of what was going on, yeah, that would be a problem. But as far as I see, I don't see a reason why there'd be an underlying cause for everything.
So you know that there's kind of two things behind this, right?
Yeah, it's basically
there's this child, and then there's the
the
relationship,
doctor,
right?
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, and these convent Auroran guys, well, the villagers, because 3 of the Stephene guardsmen are also convent Aurorans, but so maybe those guys would be good to talk to. But yeah, so the soldiers, they favor they're going to favor the doctor a bit more, but they'll also they'll probably know more about the relationship or more about this child more than these villagers can tell you.
I think we need a more subtle approach than directly going up and talking with people and ganging up on them. I don't think this will work. I think we need to be more like these people and then blend in and slowly put in the ideas.
Sorry, not all of us are. That's why I'm saying that Louise should probably talk more. But also, having Louise talk more is not a good idea.
Hey, for the most part, I behaved in this time around.
No, I'm just saying that we should not we should forget about this whole doctor kid issue first and try to get a hold of the village and blend in to gain their trust.
I mean, that sounds like it would take a really, really long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we need to solve it, we'll have to stay here for at least a week or so.
That sounds completely unnecessary based on our actual goal that apparently is, I feel, is somewhat time sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
aboard.
So let's just talk with.
We can deal with it, and like I have no idea. Never mind.
Okay, then let's just talk with the concerned parties. Just listen to what they have to say. Don't offer any solutions, and then we can talk with the captain. And
Wait! I have a great idea.
No.
Are you planning to sleep with all the women in the village?
No.
And or kill all the people in the village?
What? I mean, I could see how that could help, but no, that's not the plan. The plan
Okay.
is we unleash some kind of disease in the village, so they have no other choice but to rely on the doctor
Yeah.
after they see that all the traditional methods don't work.
Where are we gonna get a disease?
You guys have poison, remember?
Yeah.
That's oh no.
So we could make a fake.
Okay, that
I'm sure the
might-
guards and the captain, if ever find out about that, it would go well.
It would go very well. They would probably imprison you and
Yeah.
take you away. What if they just don't kill you right there?
So poison him too, then, is what I'm hearing.
That's even better. Poison a military official.
That's not a bad idea, actually. What if we poison the whole village? Like a big source of maybe the well where they drink the water or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then they'll have to rely on the doctor, and they're gonna see how useful she is, and that their traditional methods don't work.
I don't think the doctor will have enough equipment and items to treat 60 people suffering
Also,
from
you
poison.
poisoned their entire water supply.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's just poison a few people, but few important people in the village.
You guys don't really know. You guys have met like one guy from the village.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
shouldn't
mean, we
be
just-
it's hard to figure out what the hierarchy is.
Yeah, I mean, we need to just talk around and find
You
what
guys are
important people.
monsters.
Do you have any better ideas?
As a doctor, is the one doctor in this party, I say no on that. Absolutely no.
Come on, it'll be fun. And I get to use my poisons.
Yeah, and how often can you say I poisoned the village?
Hopefully never.
All right, I'll give you guys a hint. So you guys don't really know anything about this child, and you don't know anything about this Seta guy. So the doctor's boyfriend. Like maybe there's something more to this.
Oh yeah, we didn't even ask him his name.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
No,
Rowan-
I mean, he told us whether or not we wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, it did sound like he might have been provoking them a bit by the way he was bragging about stuff. But
Yeah,
again, like I don't think that's something that we can solve by just. Doesn't look like a situation that you can just sit down with a bunch of people and talk to them into a reasonable mindset.
Yeah.
So unless
So
So wait, is this hint? I'm not asking you to either confirm or deny where this hint is leading. I'm just speaking out loud. It sounds like this hint is saying that this is a conspiracy of sorts.
What do you mean?
As
by,
in, all the information that the convent Aurorans have been getting about these things are coming from the other soldiers that are, I guess, to an extent, jealous.
jealous of what?
This
Oh,
Seta guy.
I mean, that sounds like an awfully convoluted way of doing that.
I mean, this is a fucking D&D campaign, man.
So I mean, all
Why
the,
can't you apply that same logic when I vote for poisoning the whole village? Well, I guess your character's a doctor, so yeah, he would.
Yeah, I mean, I am still in character to an
I mean,
extent.
all the villagers are only giving you their side, right? So they're trying to tell you, oh yeah, doctor's bad and stuff like that, or
Besides, they were the ones that
doctor's a
asked
bit
us-
weird, and
They were the ones that asked us for help, so it wouldn't make any sense for them to ask.
No,
us.
the captain asked us.
yeah, the captain.
Kyle, can we split up?
Yeah.
All right, gang, let's split up.
I was gonna also make a Scooby-Doo reference.
I say
Daphne and
the-
Fred are gonna go over there and fuck.
Need that little running sound that they do.
Would you do it for 2 Scooby snacks?
maybe 3. I say Rock and the Rock can Rock and I can talk with the villagers and the military.
I feel like the two people that want to poison should not partner up together in this. Because now we have no way to stop you, is why I'm against that.
No, we won't poison the villagers. We'll just talk with them.
I'll be honest,
And-
you don't sound convincing.
Weak pinky promise.
I mean, two people can go and talk with the military people, and 2 people can talk with the villagers.
Yeah, there's
I
like
mean-
3 other groups, 3 other villagers you can talk to, and like 3 sets of soldiers you can talk to. You can even talk to the captain some more.
All right. I suppose Rock should be the one that talks to the villagers.
Woohoo! I mean, I kind of don't. Yeah, I'm unfortunately the person that has to do that. They kind of annoy me.
Yeah, so there's 3 sets of villagers. There's like 3 or 4 teenagers. There's a young woman with her child, and then there's a younger man who kind of looks like the son of the guy you just finished talking to.
Yeah, I'm an adult man, so I'll avoid talking to the teenagers.
Okay.
Can we kind of call it here, and we'll go with all our interviews next time
Okay.
Yeah,
because it's like about 10:30, and yeah, it's
Z, Z,
10:30.
Z.
You
Yeah,
guys are sleeping, boy.
that's fine.